This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, in big red letters, that's Alex, that's me, in the white, the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's here? Steve Kravitz. Hello, Steven. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Alex?
I got my new cap here. I got U.S. Open for this year. Marjorie.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Marjorie always buys me a cap for the U.S. Open every year, so I have them for like every year for the last 10 years. So,
really?
Yeah. Yeah. But how you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah. I went to a minor league baseball game on Sunday.
You told me you were going to go to the baseball game. How was it?
I sat in the front row.
Yeah.
Right behind home plate.
Wow.
Right behind home plate. I mean...
And you were lucky because you could do that since there was no one else in the stadium.
No, that's not true. It's full. It was full.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah, okay. Minor league baseball. It's big here in Worcester. Well, it's their inaugural season.
Yeah.
The Woo Sox.
They call them the Woo Sox?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And who are they? Are they a farm team for somebody?
The Red Sox. They're actually the Worcester Red Sox.
The Worcester Red Sox. Oh, and they call them the Woo Sox. I see.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
This is the third game I've gone to.
Do they play pretty good baseball?
Yeah, it's AAA. It's AAA. It's right before the majors.
Okay. These are all the people who are like waiting to get called.
Right.
And these are all the guys that years later will go, well, I was in the minors. I almost made the majors.
Right. This is a step below the majors.
Yeah. So, I mean, when they're going out to get new baseball players for the Red Sox, do they come and look at that team?
They look more at AA because they look at potential, whereas AAA, they think they've kind of peaked.
So maybe
what you see in AAA is you see a lot of guys from the Boston Red Sox rehabbing in AAA.
Doing what?
Rehabbing.
What's rehabbing?
Rehabilitation.
Oh, really?
Like an injury.
Okay. I thought when you said rehabbing, all I could think of was they all had a drug problem.
Right. I have to clarify that.
Yeah.
It's for physical injuries.
Wow. Well, that's pretty good, you know?
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Got together with the whole family on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. They played paintball where they, threw the paint at each other.
They threw the paint?
Right, they threw the paintballs. And they were a mess. They were covered from head to toe in paint.
Wait a minute. They didn't actually have paintball guns.
Right, they just threw the little pellets.
They threw the paintballs.
Right.
Huh.
And they all wore white T-shirts.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it looked like a Grateful Dead concert. It looked like all tie-dye.
Now, is that all washable?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
In theory, it's all washable.
Yeah, but I don't know why you don't go with the paintball guns. They're fun.
Well, because then you got to wear helmets and goggles and gloves.
I see. Yeah, with this, pretty much yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is so nobody gets hurt.
Do you ever remember laser tag?
Yes.
I thought that was a pretty good idea. In fact, they came out with home kits where you could actually play laser tag at home, and you wore these little things on you that
like a vest.
Yeah, where people had to try and hit you, you know.
Right.
And then you would do a laser tag. And it was completely harmless. There's no paintballs. There's nothing, except light. And
I think it's still going on, Alex. I think it's still going on.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just an old guy, and I don't know where the closest laser tag is.
Well, neither do I, but I see commercials for it.
Well, you're an old guy, too.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Alex.
No, you're younger than me. You're a punk compared to me, but you're still old to. Let me put it this way: if you went out to a bar, and there were a lot of 30-year-old women, okay,
I wouldn't stand a chance.
you'd be old, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Icky old.
I knew I was getting old, and this was years ago. It was
Right.
years ago. I was in my 40s when I came on to a woman, and she said, "Are you married?" And I said, "No, I'm not." She says, "You're available?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "I got a mother at home I think might be interested."
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. See you later.
Right.
That's all she wrote, you know.
That's life, Alex.
Yeah. So those were the good old days.
We had our opportunities when we were young.
Yeah. I don't feel bad about it. Okay, that
Right.
it doesn't exist anymore because I had a really good time
Oh yeah.
while
so
I
did
was
I.
going at it, and I probably bedded down more lovely women and intelligent women
Yes.
in my time, and I don't regret any of it. I would regret it today because they'd probably charge me with rape or something, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the woman would just be not satisfied.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm going to bring this up. I did this. I talked about this last night, and nobody tended to agree with me. But I just am kind of befuddled by what's going on with Andrew Cuomo. Okay?
Oh yeah.
And what
Right.
befuddles me is the most recent thing, and you're going to love this, is they keep saying, well, there's a state trooper, you know, that he came on to, and she says
Right.
she was groped, and everybody goes, oh yeah, and she's a state trooper. Well, I mean, what makes her so honest? Because she's a state trooper.
Right.
They lie,
Right.
They lie all the fucking time, you know.
Right.
And they used to single out black people when they were giving tickets. So don't give me state troopers are unimpeachable. Here's what happened, okay? And it was just fascinating. Wait a minute, hold on a second. He, according to this, now wait a minute, where is it? Oh, I lost it, I guess.
Is that the one where he reached under her shirt and groped her?
No, this is the other groping of the state trooper, the unimpeachable state trooper.
Right.
The governor, right, placed his finger on the back of the trooper's neck, standing behind her in an elevator to Manhattan at his Manhattan office, tracing a path to her spine with the two-word narration, "Hey, you." Is that rape? Is that groping? What is that?
I don't know what that is. That's
know-
just some guy trying to hit on some girl.
Well, that's what we used to call it, but I guess you can't hit on a girl anymore because they say they're looking into, especially in that case, criminal charges. I mean, if that's criminal charges, then in my lifetime I would have gotten the death penalty. You know?
Yeah, I would have been right behind you.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth.
I mean, what is the line between flirtation and molestation? And I think it's a pretty wide berth there. And
Right. It's very subjective.
what this amounts to is flirtation. Maybe unwanted flirtation, but flirtation nonetheless.
Right. I think if it's unwanted, that's when you start crossing the line.
Well, they say unwanted, but that's how can I put it? That's subjective. Maybe
Right. Well, it's all subjective, Alex.
at the moment, how unwanted was it? And now that there's a possibility you can sue him for money, how
Right.
unwanted was it? You know, I mean, I just don't understand it that we're equating what he did in the same category as Harvey Weinstein, or in the
Right.
same category
Right.
as Bill Cosby, or in the same category as any number of people. I think what it does is it diminishes what a sexual assault really is.
Right.
You know,
Right.
which is
Right.
horrible and terrible. But let's not
Right.
diminish all the women who've truly been molested in their lifetime, who truly
Right.
have been raped. by equating what he did with that, and then we have to throw him out of office, and then you get all these politicians lining up because they want to seem like they're real heroes with their constituents.
Right. Even Biden called for his resignation.
And for all these people that are calling for his resignation, nobody's asked the New Yorkers what they feel.
Right.
You know, I'm sure if he ran tomorrow with all this baggage, if he ran tomorrow, he'd get reelected.
You think so, huh?
Absolutely.
He's doing that good of a job.
He's doing that good a job, yeah. I mean,
really?
I like to say, I make the quote all the time, he saved my life.
How's that?
By attending to the COVID situation.
Oh, okay.
And the way that he did, and taking the highest level of infection anywhere in the country. I mean, it was so bad, they were setting up tents outside of hospitals, okay?
Right.
To the lowest in the country, or the third lowest. I mean, come on. And that was all through him getting on the air every day and giving a pep talk and telling people what was going on. And we relied on him. And he did his job.
Right.
And really, that's what should count, is him doing his job. You know, I mean, if he did something horrible like rape one of these women, which he didn't do, if he did anything that would scar them for the rest of their lives, I would say, okay, go after him. But none of these cases approach that. I mean, let me ask you a question. How many times have you been on a date with a woman, you're in the car, you're kissing a little bit, and you stick your hand under her sweater, to see that's kind of you investigating whether she's interested.
Right.
And then if she says, pardon me, don't do that, you simply would move your hand away.
You don't do that.
Okay. So what is that? Is that groping? Is that flirtation? What is that? You know, I want a redefinition of all these things. They redefine.
Well, if you're already kissing, you know what I mean? That's pretty intimate right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kissing is very intimate. That's why prostitutes don't kiss.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. But the other thing is, he moved his hand up some woman's blouse.
Right.
How do you do that without first getting a little flirtatious? In other words, feeling the moment out, okay? I mean, would you just go up to a woman and stick your hand up her blouse? No, I don't think so.
No. I don't want to get smacked.
And he only did it, he only supposedly did it this once, which means it isn't something he did all the time.
Right. Right.
I mean, there were people like Harvey Weinstein who would invite women up to his place, up to his room, and then he would say, I'm going to get comfortable and take my pants off.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. And then eventually he would actually wind up doing what we would define as rape.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I agree with those who say, well, if you're using your power to get laid, that's wrong. But, you know, my question is, what is power? If their job is dependent upon you, this is what they're arguing with Cuomo. Their job is dependent upon you, then you're using your power to get laid.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But apparently he didn't get laid in any of these cases. He just touched the woman. In most of these cases was verbal. You know?
Right.
Boy, that's a hot dress you're wearing today. Oh, I'm so upset. It's going to scar me for the rest of my life. I don't know. I mean, my feeling is, if you ask the people of New York, do they want this guy to be governor? He's being real. There's an election next year. Can't you wait?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Let the people of New York decide. I'm telling you right now, I'd vote for him. You know? But I don't like this lynch mob that has gotten up behind, you know, Biden and Schumer and Gillibrand. She's terrible.
Right.
I mean, what she did to Al Franken was just. I'll vote for a goddamn right-wing, gun-toting asshole before I'd vote for Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
What did she do to Al Franken?
She was the one who started the lynch mob, saying after he took that picture pretending like he was grabbing a woman's breast in a plane,
Right.
that he resigned, and she forced him to resign. She was the main lead on this whole thing of saying, "No, he's got to quit. He's got to leave the Senate. That's not the kind of person we want in the Senate." First of all, he was maybe the most liberal of
Right.
all the Democrats. Okay,
Now, did he actually grab somebody's breast, or was it Photoshop?
it was a gag photo they took.
Oh, okay.
With this one, she even said it was a gag photo. We didn't actually grab her breast, but they took
Right.
a photo of her like she was asleep, okay, and he was about to grab her breast.
Okay.
That was all. Does that mean you have to leave the Senate because you took a photo like that?
Well, apparently it does.
Well, Kirsten Gillibrand forced him out. And ever
Right.
since then, I've hated the woman. Just hated
Right.
her. And here she goes again. You know, I mean,
Right.
and the trouble with the Democrats is something like this. See, if this happened to a Republican, all the Republicans would be standing up for Cuomo.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But the Democrats, they have a wonderful ritual called "Let's Eat Our Own."
Right.
You know, and Kirsten Gillibrand gets hungry every now and then, and she has to eat her own.
Now, what state is she from?
New York. She's a senator from New York.
Oh, is that right?
And then that hack Schumer went along with her. Yeah, he's got to resign.
Right.
And the mayor of New York, who hates him, said he's got to resign. It really is, you know, it's a terrible mess in which I think, yes, he probably didn't act properly. All right?
Right.
I'll tap him on the wrist for that. Hey, bad boy, you know, you weren't acting properly. But I don't think any of these women, no matter what, will be scarred for life because of this. You know, like some of the
It's
women,
just it's the temperament of the country right now.
it's the zeitgeist, as they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tone of the times. And I mean, I think, you know, let's reserve this kind of outrage for
Right.
Harvey Weinstein. I mean, I've seen the record of Harvey Weinstein. It's horrible. Everybody knew in Hollywood that he was doing what he was doing for years. And you know, it was pretty egregious.
Right.
What Bill Cosby allegedly did was drug women, and then while they were passed out, have sex with them. Which, you know, I'm sorry, I like my women in some kind of a lucid state so I can hear
Yes.
them go ah. You know.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but that is terrible. That is horrible. That is just so egregious. It goes beyond horrible. You know.
Right.
So
Right.
you
Right.
go to
Right.
these cases, and yes, these people should be taken care of, prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Didn't Cosby get out of jail on a tech?
Yeah, on a technical. Yeah, but putting your finger on somebody's neck and moving it down their spine and saying, "Hey, you." What is that? Is that with the same thing Harvey Weinstein did? The same thing Bill Cosby did? You know?
No.
Does it?
No, but
if he's going to be punished, does he need to be punished in the same way these people were punished? You know, I mean,
well, I don't think he has to serve jail time, but they're gonna probably force him out of office.
well, yeah. But I'll tell you, they got on me last night because I've said this about, you know, Louis C.K. Great,
Yeah.
great comic, and a nice guy. He no longer can get work because he got accused by 3 women who were comedians who came up to his room, and then he said, "Do you mind if I pull my penis out?" And none of the women said no.
But they didn't say yes.
They didn't say yes, but they didn't say no. He asked for permission, and none of them said no. None of them said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't put up with this, I'm leaving."
Right.
He sat there and pulled his penis out while they stared at it. Well, he can't work anymore. What, for being a gentleman and asking permission?
Well, come on, it's still kind of odd.
Oh, it's odd. And it's
I mean,
strange.
is that something you would ever do? It's not something I would ever
No,
do.
because I don't want to show my penis to a bunch of anonymous women, you know.
Right.
But at least he didn't just pull it out. He asked ahead of time, which gave people a chance to leave if they wanted to. So, you know, you have to give a little responsibility to the women who wouldn't leave the room. And yet his whole career is like, and is that on the level of Bill Cosby? Is that on the level of Harvey Weinstein? No.
No, no.
No way. So it's not even. Maybe it's a little more egregious than Cuomo. Cuomo didn't pull out a penis. Cuomo didn't have sex with any of these women. Most of them were just based upon comments he made.
Right.
You know, one woman says he put his hand up my blouse. Another woman said, you know, he put the finger on the neck and moved it down. And that's the crux of it. Do you really think he should be thrown out as governor for that?
Do I think so?
Yeah.
No.
No. If you want to tap him on the wrist, say, bad boy, this was not good behavior. Stop that.
Right.
Or we want to hold an investigation into the toxic environment in your office.
Right.
That would be, I think, quite appropriate.
Now, these women looking to get compensated?
Yes.
Well, motivation, right?
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, how far does it have to go? You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And maybe it's just me. I'm an old guy and I'm living by old rules. But I had my idea of how I handled things. I never wanted to make any woman feel uncomfortable with anything that I did. Okay. But I would sometimes come on to them, and then if they looked like they weren't interested, then I backed off.
Right.
You know. But just that approach of coming on to them, if I were Cuomo, it would be one of the women complaining about me right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So where does flirtation end and molestation start? You know, that's the question.
Alex, that's so subjective.
Yeah. I mean, come on. The guys are going to be flirtatious with women. You know, I asked my wife, Marjorie, I said, if Cuomo came on to you, what would you do? I said, I'd let him keep coming on to me. She said, you know, good-looking guy,
right?
Great, terrific personality, real masculine Italian personality. She said, I'd probably let him go ahead, you know. But how's he going to find out whether somebody's interested or not without getting flirtatious?
Yeah, but I wouldn't stand beside a woman I didn't know and put my finger on her neck and rub it down her spine.
No, but this was a woman he knew. This was a state trooper who was guarding him all the time.
Oh, so he knew her well.
He knew her well, yeah.
Well, that's different.
No, I wouldn't take it. You know, I wouldn't do it to. I don't think he even would have done it to a stranger.
Right.
You know, but what was wrong is that he was stupid. He
crossed boundaries.
Well, he was stupid.
It's like he has no boundaries.
Well, he had to know that he was being stupid, because you just don't do that sort of thing if you're in the position he has. Okay?
You don't do that kind of thing anyway.
Well, I mean, but getting flirtatious in your
No. That's not really standing behind a woman, and that's your first move is to put your finger on her neck and slide it down her spine.
Yeah.
That's your first move?
Well, I guess that's his move. I don't know.
No. I would never do that.
Well, I would never do that. But the question is, does it rise to the level of molestation? Does it rise to the level of sexual aggression?
Well, like you said, in his office, he created an atmosphere that was not conducive to women.
No, that was not. Well, as they say, a toxic atmosphere. I hear he was a piece of shit to work for. I hear he was just a tough guy.
Right.
He ran the place like it was his fiefdom.
Right.
And I can understand why people don't like him, and why now that there's a chance to go get him, they're doing it.
Sure.
See?
Wouldn't you?
But because he wasn't a great boss is not the reason to, say, well, we're looking at criminal charges. What, for moving your finger down a woman's spine and saying, hey, you? Oh boy, let's give him life in prison for that one.
Well,
It's just,
that one I think is community service.
I think it's too much. Okay, I just think it diminishes what rape is and what molestation is and what that kind of thing is.
Right, right.
And it's terrible. But anyway, I don't know. So everybody's mad at me because I'm defending Andrew Cuomo, and I'm defending him because I think he's a good governor and he should stay governor. And if you want to yell and scream at him and you want to file a sanction against him, go ahead.
Right. Right,
But
right.
don't push him out of office. He's done too good a job, and what these things do not rise to the level of sexual assault. Okay, under any conditions. So
Right, right. They just make it like like you said, a toxic atmosphere at the workplace.
Yeah, but he certainly doesn't have people who like him.
Right.
Right, and so this is their chance to get even.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think that should not be the reason for us to say, okay, he should be out of office. I've read everything that they've said he did, and it's amazingly minor.
Right.
So I don't get it. Hey, listen, we've already eaten up 25 minutes. And change.
Really?
Yeah. Always nice to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you, Alex, and to the people at home.
If I stopped doing my show at any point every night, I would still do these with you and post them on the web.
Right, right.
They're really good. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Alex.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, folks.
His name is Steve Kravitz. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Alex.
This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
That's a rerun of Stephen Kravitz, not Pearl. I got to get Pearl back on here. We haven't done that in a while, and we should actually. But anyway, we haven't done that in a while, and we should. So anyway, we're a little out of sync here, aren't we, tonight? We shouldn't be, because, well, anyway, I don't care. I had a problem at the beginning of the show tonight, and I don't know if any of you noticed it, but we got on a little late. Here's the reason why. I use this, okay, this little thing here, right, to run the other machine that plays all my little music and the spots and so on. And as I went to reach for it, it fell on the ground, slid across the floor. The batteries fell out, and I couldn't find it. And the show is now on the air, and we're moving forward with the show, and we've just got dead air, and I can't find this damn. I finally found it, and here it is. Things, just one thing after another, and then of course the fact that I'm a little bit out of sync, and I shouldn't be here. I don't know why we are, but we will just live with this a little bit and hope that we're okay. Well, maybe that's a little better. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, it's really time for us to go over to our citizen panel and talk to the people there, as we allow them to come in, and there are a whole bunch of them waiting tonight, which is kind of nice. Let me see here. Who do we have so far? We got Trucker Steve. Hello, Steve. How are you this evening?
Right.
Okay, he's fine. And there's Kevin, and there's Alan. Ooh. Yeah, Alan, and there's Charlie Wallace, and Josh is joining us on a Thursday. Josh,
you get a bonus night, I guess.
I get a boner night. Did you say?
No, I said you get a bonus night.
Yeah, I guess so.
What you do with it is your business. What people do in the privacy of their own home.
Yeah,
is still constitutionally protected for a few more weeks.
Yeah, but I went. This whole thing with my mouse. Have you ever had this happen where something falls on the floor and you just can't find it? And in this case, I needed it immediately. And finally I found it, and part of it had fallen off, but I got it back together again, and we got on the air. That's just, what is all that noise?
Don't know.
Where's it coming from? It's not coming from,
This?
What?
Yep.
Well, it's my squeaky chair. I'll just mute myself again.
Well,
Damn it.
I'll tell you what
Just
to
call me Ray.
No. What you got to do is turn your microphone down a little bit. It's on the high side. Okay? So, Kevin, turn. No, you don't have to leave us. You can just turn it down. Turn your mic. Hello, my name is Kevin, and I am a screaming asshole. Go ahead. Keep doing that. Anyway. And we've been joined by Jeff, okay, and hey, John Larkin's here. Hello, John. We haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
Pretty good. I tested positive for COVID yesterday. Yeah,
well,
but I feel fine.
Congratulations for passing the test. We think that's wonderful.
But I'm quarantining, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But can we catch it from him, Alan? From him being?
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
if you're in Hollister.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Dr. Fauci says you can, so
Yeah.
Okay.
put a mask on that camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get
We were
it?
talking about ushers last night, and here the usher is alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but my question is, John, how did you get it? Now, the thing is that the fact that you got it is not unusual. Everybody I know is getting it. We heard about a friend of ours who's in a nursing home who got it, and now you got it. And how many people here know somebody who's gotten it recently? See? So it's just doesn't, it's a gift that just keeps on giving, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Jeff is down there. He's in Florida. Move your camera a little bit so we can see you, Jeff.
Gilroy was here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no. There we go. Do you know anybody down in Florida who's gotten COVID? Jeff? Earth calling Jeff.
Yeah, I gotta turn it off. Nobody that I know.
Nobody that you know.
Can you hear that?
Okay, good. Hi, Pam.
Yeah.
Pam is his
That's
tech.
good.
Hi, how are you?
Pam is his tech support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have real crappy internet here. So
Really, because the picture looks great. It looks
Maybe you
terrific.
can get away from the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I
Could
don't
be.
know, maybe if it's higher.
Hey, you know something? We got a topic tonight for Josh Wheeler.
Ooh.
Well, because he's like the expert on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And what do you think of all of this, Josh?
I was surprised to hear that Justice Breyer decided to retire.
Mhm.
I mean, I know people have sort of been pushing him to, so makes a little sense. But I was kind of surprised. I didn't know how long he'd stay or anything. But I think he was just getting. I think he was just getting tired of the situation the court's in constantly the last couple of years. It's become really just everything they do anymore, with these fights over everything is just so blown out of proportion. And, it's a really misunderstood institution. A lot of people don't know a lot about it. And, they do things sometimes that people don't like, even though that's probably really what they were supposed to do and all that. It just becomes such a fight. And I know a pretty good bit about him, and he's written a couple books that I've read, and I've seen him speak, and I've seen on video I've seen probably 100 book talks that he gave or just lectures at law schools and stuff like that. And I know that he really cared about the court a lot, and he really cared about its, its judicial independence and things like that. And he really believed that the court was the anchor that made sure that Americans didn't, as he always said, settle their differences in the streets with guns, which is a little crazy right now because, on January 6th last year, we came as close to that as we've come in, since the 1860s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're still kind of slowly heating the water in that pot, to a boil on our national stove. And I think that maybe he's just tired of it. I mean, that's just my conjecture there. I don't know if that's really how he feels, but I think that maybe he is, because I think he feels like their work is just not being accepted right now. I mean, it used to be, for example, like Biden, the Biden administration and the president lost their OSHA case a few weeks ago, right? And the president just came out basically immediately and said, well, okay, that's what we got to do then, right? And that's the way that it's supposed to be. And, I think, I'm not saying, Trump obviously complied with a couple of the court orders that went against him, but he had to act like a 3-year-old in the process, and that didn't help anything. And, I just think Justice Breyer was maybe getting a little tired of it. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
I think, it wears on people. And I don't know how old he is. I'm sure they've said this week a couple times, and I don't even remember how old he is.
I think they said he was 84 or 85.
Okay, I mean,
82.
82. Okay.
So, at some point, man, he probably, I don't really even think that that's, like elder, really old. I just think that he probably says, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch this Judge Judy thing everyone's always talking about before I die.
I'm 82 years old, and I'd like to retire here, but I have to wait till Biden appoints a successor. So.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Before I can...
So I just think he was tired. But I'll tell you what, he was kind of always, maybe my favorite of the justices, in a lot of ways for sure. I think what he lended to the court over the last couple decades was important, and he could be counted on for, as a defender of people's individual freedoms and rights, even though people on both sides are never going to see it eye to eye. But I think he'll leave a legacy as a fair person who really worked hard to make sure that people understood that whether you liked the court's decision or not, it was incredibly important that what the court said was what happened. Because like he always said, without that, what do you have? The only other alternative really is violence. And we can turn on our televisions and see that in countries at various times all around the world, and none of us want that.
Well, who do you think?
I don't want that.
Do you have any idea who we should appoint?
No, I really don't. I heard you guys talking about it a little bit last night because I just watched last night's show a little bit earlier, and I don't like this whole thing about coming out well before any of this and saying, well, if there's an opening, I'm going to do it from, this and this.
Did you think it was a good idea for him, even when he was running for office, to say he was going to appoint a black woman?
I don't really like that.
That's hardly affirmative. That hardly rises to the level of affirmative action.
Right. Yeah. I'm a department manager where I work, right? Okay. I run a huge section of our site. A lot of people work for me and everything. And I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense for me if the site manager said, well, if you ever quit, I'll get a black woman to replace you. I mean, you mean you won't look for whoever can do? I mean, I guess that's your choice.
Well, you can
but,
think
I mean,
it.
What
Listen,
sense does that make? I mean,
you can think it, okay, and that's fine. And you can even upon thinking about it, make sure that when you do appoint somebody, it's based on that.
Well, you notice in his comments today, he did change his tone a little bit and say that. He didn't mention who it was going to be, but he mentioned a black, but he said he's going to pick the best person for the job.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned the black woman.
Yeah.
So he's trying to mix it up a little bit.
Hold on a second. Pam, turn off the mic if you're going to talk to each other. Yeah. Turn off your mic, would you, Jeff?
There's a volume there.
Turn it off. Turn the mic off. Jeff, can you hear me?
That's it.
You see, he can't even hear me. Hold on a second. I know what I can do. Mute. Okay.
Mute him.
There we go. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the direction it's heading. And look, I mean, I think I've read a little bit of articles today about, some I mean, there are obviously qualified, black women, and it is certainly, about time, I mean, there's no doubt. I just don't like the fact that you have to say, well, that's what we're going to limit it to, or what. I mean, maybe he didn't really say that, I guess. I mean, but he just kind of made clear that that's his preference. I mean,
no, he didn't make clear it was his preference. He said, "Am I right, Charlie?" He pretty much said, "This is what I'm going to do."
Pretty right.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got elected if he didn't say it in that debate.
Well,
yeah, it was a campaign point.
I heard last night Jimmy Kimmel said that he had the perfect candidate for the job. Who was the woman who went after
Anita Hill?
Anita Hill.
Yeah.
He suggested Anita Hill, and he said, "I'm not joking." He said that would be terrific. He said because she'd get the job, and then she'd come to work and have to look. Clarence Thomas would have to look her in the face every day, and she just goes, "Hi, here I am." It's also a way that Biden could make up for his absolutely crappy behavior back in the day during those hearings.
Yeah.
So I'm voting for Anita Hill. She's a lawyer. She knows the law. In fact, she teaches it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's a professor.
She's a professor, and quite frankly, why not give it to her? You screwed her out of her day. It's speaking before the committee, Biden, years ago. Yes.
Yeah, the only thing I have about that is that Trump appoints Amy Coney Barrett, who's 48 years old. We're going to appoint Anita Hill in her 60s. So we really need somebody younger.
Then since she's studying for the bar, why don't we just give the job to Kim Kardashian? Because she's young enough that she'll live to see a long term.
There's plenty of young female lawyers.
Who's the vice president over there?
What?
No.
Move Kamala Harris.
That can't work anyway.
What'd you say?
It can't be Kamala Harris because then we wouldn't have our 51st vote.
You're right. You're right.
I don't even think she could vote for herself. I don't think.
No, she couldn't vote.
Yeah.
Well, the Republicans might be happy to get rid of her.
Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah, they wouldn't be happy to have her on the Supreme Court, though.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I mean, there's a leading lady there, I think, that Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah, that looks like the one that's going to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just, I mean, the people on the left, really are in love with her and all that. I mean, the right does the same thing. They get these people they love, and they're really pushed. So, I'm sure that's.
Well, I think for the way in which Biden treated Anita Hill during the Clarence Thomas hearings, which was appalling, just appalling, he owes this to her. I'm serious.
She doesn't want it though. She wouldn't take it.
Well, let her turn it down first.
Yeah.
You know, at least offer it to her. That's your way of making up for past grievances. You know,
Yeah.
because I always thought very crappy. The one thing I always held against Biden was what he did to her in those hearings, which was appalling, just appalling. And I'm just amazed that that Thomas even got confirmed. You know,
It was close.
it was close, but no cigar. You know, so
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure that's the direction that it's headed. You know, so
yeah.
You know, I think they can get that done. I mean, you know, and look, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, look, you know, for people who want to complain, even if they don't like her,
I hope they get
sorry.
somebody good on the Supreme Court, because for all I know, my rent case is going to wind up there at the rate it's been
That's
going.
possible.
You know, the latest is our landlord doesn't want to give us the lease we are supposed to have. So we're going to have to probably go to the judge, and then it's going to have to be. It just keeps going on. So I imagine that eventually it'll get to the Supreme Court at the rate it's been going. You know, they don't take things like that, do they? Unless they perhaps involve a racial question.
I don't think you'd have much chance of getting that.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe if you tell them who you are, you might. It's possible.
Tell them you're from Gabnet.
Yeah, right.
They heard that case about the high school kid that held up the sign "Bong Hits for Jesus." That went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Really?
Bong Hits for Jesus.
Well, what did they do? Did they bust him for that or something?
Well, yeah, he I guess he got kicked. He got suspended from high school for doing that. So he sued the high school for free speech or something, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court.
And how did they judge on that?
I'm not sure. I just love the bong hits for Jesus going to the Supreme Court.
Do you remember that case at all, Josh?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
Google it.
Yeah.
I do not remember.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens with this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a big fight over it, but I hope there's not. I mean, you know, if the person is qualified and, you know, sort of in bounds at all, I mean, presidents, you know, generally get who they want. I mean, you know, after some of the shit Trump pulled with his, I mean, you know, this is a free one for Biden.
You had a guy who was literally accused
of fucking Stalin on the court if he wants to at this point.
Well, I mean, Trump had a guy who was being accused of rape.
Yeah.
You know, you get that kind of onus on you, and I think maybe it's not a good idea to confirm them or affirm them.
I mean, my hope. I mean, look. I don't mind the hearing, and I don't even mind the serious fight that they would have if it is actually serious. What I don't want is a circus, okay? I don't want a fucking circus, and I don't want stunts and all that. I mean, if you have judicial, philosophical differences with that person, and you want to hash that out in a serious conversation, in a hearing, or in private or whatever, then have at it, because that's the way the government is supposed to work. But if it's just going to be a circus or stunts, you just want to go and meet the press and say, oh, if this person is appointed, it's just the end of this and this. And I mean, I don't have time or care for any of that from anybody, you know, and that's sort of what Supreme Court nominations anymore have become.
Yeah.
So I hope that we can start to get away from that.
Jeff?
That kid who went to court, he lost.
He lost? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Just got that from my source over there.
Yeah. Well, your source is a lawyer, so she's
That's right.
Yeah.
Probably aware of
But
that.
she looked it up on Google, so, you know.
You're down in Florida, right?
We sure are.
Yeah. You enjoying it?
Yeah. I mean, today was a beautiful day.
No,
We
shut
took
the
a
fuck
big,
up,
long
will you?
walk.
It was
It's gonna snow.
right
in New
now.
York.
Right
on,
now,
it's
it's 30 degrees and
snowing like
snowing.
crazy at home, right?
Well,
Alex,
it says it's
tomorrow it's gonna snow
snowing
like
here, but I
crazy.
haven't looked out the window to see.
What part of
Yeah, well,
Florida?
good. Don't.
What part of Florida are you in, Jeff?
What's the town we're in, Pam? West Palm Beach.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you're there because it's snowing in Miami right now. So
There's a good chance it's gonna snow in New York. Some kind of weather bomb.
no, what they will you stop at the weather bomb? Who came up with weather bomb?
I don't know.
What is this with a weather bomb?
We started it out here with the cyclone bomb crap.
Cyclone bomb, not weather bomb.
All of a sudden, a new term comes into play, and then everybody uses it. You know, and so we have
Probably
weather.
fake news.
Huh?
It's probably fake news.
No, it isn't a question of fake news. It's fake weather. You know, but and how is it up in Canada? Is it cold up there, Trucker Steve?
Yeah.
Or shall we call you former Trucker Steve?
Yeah, former Trucker Steve.
Where's Rocky? He's not.
What's Trucker?
He's upstairs.
He's upstairs? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's your health doing, by the way? You doing okay?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Got some appointments to get the process of getting a transplant done,
Mm-hmm.
a cardiogram and an ultrasound, and I have to go for a glucose test or something.
Mm-hmm.
You guys been paying attention to the trucker convoy going on up here?
Yeah, I heard. Before we go any further, though, wait a second. Then I'll come back to you. Brian, what's wrong with you?
I know. He's in the twilight zone.
Do you have maybe like one of those privacy flaps on there?
I know. I don't know what's going on. It's a video of his colonoscopy.
Everything looks good, Brian.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Purple hole.
Okay. Well,
We have no polyps.
Where's this wire going?
Where's this wire going? Anyway, Trucker Steve, so with this thing, yeah, it's in Canada, and the Canadian truckers are protesting.
Mm-hmm.
What are they
They
protesting?
are going after Trudeau.
Over what in particular? Hello, Brian.
Because they're sick of the fucking mandates.
Mhm.
Everybody here is done. We're tired of it.
Yeah.
It's been 2 fucking years, enough already.
Yeah. But
So that's it.
do you don't? I take it you don't believe in the mandates.
No, I think they're stupid.
Oh,
2,600 Americans died every day in the last week.
how many?
18,225 Americans died the last 7 days. It is not over. I'm sick of people saying it's over. People are dying out there.
Boy, I've never heard you that mad before, and I've never heard Trucker Steve that invigorated before on something.
Well, Bill Maher was ridiculous last Friday.
What? Why?
Because he was saying it's over. He's sick of COVID.
Well, you know,
He's
just
done
because-
with COVID.
well, look,
COVID's not done with you.
Yeah. To begin with, the fact that you're sick of it is not the excuse why we stopped doing it. Okay,
Right.
We stopped doing it because there are precious few cases, and we don't need to be as cautious. All right. But I understand where the truckers up there are getting frustrated because this is their living, right, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although
And
he's
but
not a trucker.
And drivers spend most of their time in the truck.
yeah,
Very little of it is outside.
would you be against all truckers having to take COVID tests in order to drive?
I don't see why.
Why not? I mean, they can
To
still
avoid spreading COVID.
because they can still.
Yeah,
Wait,
The thing is, though, up here, our premier, okay, they
Mhm.
let a bunch of our nurses, health staff go. They laid them off because they wouldn't get the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
and now they're hiring them back. And they said you can have test positive for COVID, but as long as you're asymptomatic, you can still work.
Oh, boy, do you buy that? You
They're
buy
doing
that,
around
Alan?
here too.
You buy that theory, Alan?
They're doing that in some places in this country too. They're so short on doctors and nurses. If they're asymptomatic and they can work, keep them covered up with PPE, you know, the mask and the shield, and let them work.
Are you against the use of masks?
Absolutely not.
No, not you, Steve.
sorry.
Steve, are you against the use of masks?
I wear them up here
Yeah.
because you have to.
Well,
But as soon as I go outside, I take it off.
Yeah, outside you're a lot safer. I will agree with that. But you are probably immune compromised, aren't you? With the kidney problems and so on.
Definitely high risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, but I'm fine. I've gone through the whole thing
Yeah.
without getting it.
Yeah. Well, I've gone through the whole thing without getting it too, but I'm still very careful about it.
Yeah.
I mean, my question is, isn't part of Trudeau's job to protect the Canadian public?
Yep.
And that this health crisis is something where the job comes with it to protect the public, and that he's doing it in the best way he sees possible. I mean, why is he being made to be the villain in this scenario?
Because a lot of people don't like him up here.
Well, that in fact, you don't like him is not the reason that you aren't going to have good health protocols. You know, I just think that I heard a story today. Sarah Palin. Do you hear this thing about Sarah Palin?
Yep.
She tested positive for AIDS. She tested probably for that too. It tested positive for COVID. And the reason, and then she went to the judge in the case she has against the New York Times and says, you have to stave off the beginning of the trial because I've been tested positive for COVID. And then that night went to a restaurant.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get arrest her.
Well, I mean, you know, I understand that you have your questions about this and you're protesting it and so on, but do you really have to make when you know that you are at least perhaps you can infect other people? Do you really want to go somewhere and inflict it upon them? You know, yes.
Yeah, when I got my positive email, you know, I got tested at Kaiser, and then I get the email. And the email says, you don't have to quarantine if you've been boosted. It said if you've been boosted and you don't have to quarantine.
And you have no symptoms.
Yeah, but then the city says you must quarantine no matter what. And then Kaiser notifies the city, so the city sends me a survey asking me where I work, you know, who I've been around, you know, and everything. It was just like, you know, total, you know, too.
San Francisco is one of the first cities in the state of California that are going to lower their masking mandate February 1st.
Yeah.
Well, how infected is San Francisco now?
Positivity rate around 15%. The high was about 19%.
It's not the time to do it.
Coming down, but it's still very risky.
Here, I think we've gone down a great deal in New York City.
Still risky.
Huh?
Still very risky.
I think we're down.
I think you're around 9% positivity rate.
Really?
Which is going in the right direction.
I remember when we had 0.5 positivity. We had lowered it that low.
I remember that about here too.
And then all these other versions came out.
Like a month ago.
Now, don't we have a new version of Omicron out there?
Yeah.
They're not thinking that it's going to cause a problem.
Yeah.
I think it was discovered in Santa Clara, wasn't it?
Somewhere in California.
Yeah.
But it's not it's a variant of interest, but not of concern. Concern meaning that it can infect people and stuff. It's been going around. 600 people have tested positive in the United States for it, but it's been here for over a month.
I think Kevin is the guy who's been passing it around, if you want my opinion.
Yeah, don't say.
Watch it. I've got more in this drawer right here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
Fuck with me. I'm going to pass it around.
It's just that I was mentioning to Marjorie tonight about Sarah Palin, and I'm going, the only reason you don't go to a restaurant, okay, is out of your respect for other people. Whatever happened to our caring and respect for other people that we've turned this into a personal issue?
The Republicans jumped all over California when Gavin Newsom was in a restaurant in Napa, in the middle of this thing 6 months ago. Or a year
he
ago.
was an asshole for doing that.
Absolutely, but now the Democrats have a Republican that did it.
Yeah.
Because we're all human beings.
Well, Mike,
Do you know where you think you got it, or do you think you know where you got it?
John.
Oh, well, I work at these, events, at the Warfield and the Curran Theater. So probably from one of those shows. But I was working at the Harry Potter show got closed down because the cast members came down with it. So maybe that's where I got it from.
Yeah. Did they they called it the Hogwarts variation.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Did you wear a mask at those events? Of course.
Oh yeah, totally. And everybody gets checked, to make sure everybody's been boosted.
What kind of mask did you wear? Just one of the
I'll show you.
N95s?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They gave them. The house passed them out to everybody.
Well, is that an N95?
Yeah.
Not if it goes around your ears.
Not if it goes around your ears.
It says it's a KN95.
Yeah, that's different.
That's the Chinese version of N95.
Well, that's pretty good.
Some are fake, some are real.
So there's your over-the-ear one, Alex.
Okay, but that's an N95 technically.
It's a
KN95.
It's China's version.
Well,
China version.
It's not supposed to be as secure as the N95.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. How tight do I have to have them around my face till I smother?
Yeah, those N95 ones with the two wraps on those things are like, fuck, you can barely breathe out of those. Yeah.
Go ahead, quickly, put it on
They're
there.
like $5 each.
Show them how fast you can do it. Show them how fast you can do it.
I'll send you some, Charlie.
Here we go. Oh, I see. Okay, he's been practicing since last night.
Well, I wear it all the time. I mean, why not?
Why do you wear it all the time? Where do you wear it?
Well, not in the house, but
and not in the car.
When I go tomorrow, I'm going to see the doctor. I mean, there's a lot of sick people there, some mentally and some otherwise. But or if I go into Costco.
I think one of the problems is that we're not. I know there's a lot of people dying, but a lot of things have not gone back to how they were when we were in COVID before. The hospitals have loosened up a lot. Talking about the hospitals, I remember going there to pick up prescription when they were really dialing in. I mean, Home Depot was only letting so many people in. Same with Costco. And now here, this is picked up so high, and they don't care. They still let as many people in Costco, and Home Depot and all those stores. They just let everybody in again. So how people taking it seriously?
In all deference to Steve. I mean, how much have we learned about COVID that we know that these things we do actually are effective?
Well, we know masking is effective because it's working.
We know that the vaccination is effective to a point. Doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get it, but you can get a breakthrough version of it, but you're not going to wind up in the hospital.
Same thing with masks.
Die. I'm afraid of dying.
Yeah.
They're all parts of a toolbox. You get the vaccine, you get the booster, you wear a good mask, you social distance, you hand wash.
Can I go into a pharmacy now and get a fourth shot if I want it?
Israel found that it didn't do any good against Omicron. They tested people when they came out with the study CDC published.
Yeah,
it.
but I see where it said that if you're 6 months or later since you got your, what do you call it? Your
You haven't got your
fourth
third
shot. My third shot rather.
I got mine 2 days after the CDC approved it, so that's not even, that's like 4 months.
Well, let me see here. When does it say that I got mine? Hold on a second.
If you make a fake vaccination card with only 2 shots on there and say you're going for your third, but it's really your fourth, then you can go for your fourth.
Okay, vaccination details. I got my third shot. I got my first shot on 12/1/2021, and my second one on 2/27/21. And here we go, the third shot, 9/8/21. So that's not 6 months yet.
Month. Yeah, next month will be 4 months.
Next month will be 4 months.
Sure.
Okay, so 6 months will be 2 months after that. So we're going March, April.
What they're concerned about right now is, I think I would wait. There, some of these Moderna and Pfizer are coming out with Omicron specific, and by the time they get it tested, that'll be 6 months. Timing is a big issue. If you get it too early, just like a lot of vaccines, if you get them too early, like the what's it called, shingles vaccine, you got to have it between 2 and 6 months, the second shot.
Is that a single? How many single shingle shots do you have to get? Do you have to get a single shingle shot?
No, that's cute. No,
say that 3 times fast. Single shingle shot.
I almost called it scales instead of shingles, but in any case, so you have to have it separated, and that's part of the science.
When I first heard about shingles, I actually got it once.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, in the eye here.
God, that's the worst.
And I was
gone blind.
I was a couple of days from going blind.
Wow.
But I went to a doctor up in Mendocino. A friend of mine worked for a doctor who recommended marijuana as his business, but he also was a good doctor, and he told me, you've got shingles, and he went and got me pills to take to stop it, okay? And that was fine. But he said one more day, 2 more days, I could have gone blind in that eye. So I mean, shingles are very
around the midsection, but around the eye it can cause blindness.
What about around the midsection? What does it do?
It just forms little blisters. Blisters.
Yeah.
Thank you.
By the way, I heard a great joke today, and I should tell it before I forget it. I was watching an interview with Jack Parr by Dick Cavett, talk about 2 old fossils, okay? But Parr was very funny, and they were talking about, people who work for networks and do surveys and check the ratings and see where the ratings are going and so on and so forth. And he said, this story one is about 3 dogs, 3 kind of, what do we call mutts, and they're all jumping over a barbed wire fence. And the first one goes over and he's fine, clears it. The second one goes over it and clears it again. The third one goes and hits the barbed wire with his nuts and completely shears off his penis. And as he's lying there, the dogs went, "What happened?" He said, "My gonads have been attacked by that barbed wire. I don't think I'll ever be able to have sex again." And I was such a good lover, too. I mean, I was just one of the best mutts ever to go out there and chase bitches. I was just the best there ever was. What am I going to do now? And one of the dogs looked down and go, "Well, you could always become a consultant." I thought that was a great joke.
Especially on the Dick Cavett show.
Yeah.
Well, he told it nicer than I just told it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said his private parts, I think, is how he told the story. But
God, that must have hurt.
Yeah, that's all I could think of.
God, that must have hurt.
It's not a true story. It's a joke.
Duh.
Okay. Anyway, so what are the truck drivers going to do up there in Canada about the mandate?
They're going to stay in Ottawa until the mandates are stopped.
So what they're going to do is not go on the road.
Yep. they're coming in from the east, the west.
Mhm.
You got some American drivers coming up there too.
Yeah, but don't you, if you are a driver and you want to go into the United States, don't you have to show proof that you've been vaccinated?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how is that? Then are they protesting that?
Well, yeah, it's not just the trucker mandate; it's all mandates. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
it's all of them.
I mean, I know we're all sick of it. You know, I'm sick of it. Brian's sick of it, and Brian makes a living out of it. You know, but we're all sick of it. But yeah, it's the times in which we live. You know,
It just pisses me off because the way we got rid of polio and the way we got rid of smallpox was by everybody getting vaccinated. That's why we don't have to worry about that now.
Yep.
You want to get back to normal? Fuck, everybody get vaccinated. Then we'll be back to normal.
I think as a species, we're getting more stupid. You know.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
The thing is, though, this vaccine is not that great.
Well, it's better than
People are
dying.
still, you can still get vaccinated and still get sick.
no, you
Yeah, but your odds are much better of living if you
That's
get
right.
vaccinated.
I
Way,
think there-
way higher.
well, wait a
I
minute.
think there'd be a lot more deaths if there was no vaccine.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, the vaccine doesn't work 100%. That's right.
That's right.
But if you
expect
do
more
get it, it's not going to be deadly like it was before the vaccine. So
And the
what it's
reason
done
it's
is
not-
what?
The reason it's not 100% is because they keep getting these mutations. We get these variants. The reason we get these variants is because it's still out there. People
Because
get
not enough people are
vaccinated and
getting
it's not out
vaccinated.
there anymore. They won't get these mutations.
You're right.
Yeah.
Everybody gets vaccinated, then we don't get mutations.
Well, have we given up on herd immunity?
Yep.
We
yeah,
have.
because not enough people get vaccinated.
Okay. Are you vaccinated, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have 3.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, if you get it, it's like, for instance, okay, I'll give you an example. One of our best friends' husbands is in a nursing home because he came down with some problems, and you know, he needed a nursing home. And in the nursing home, he came down with. It turns out he tested positive for COVID, and he had the vaccine. The worst he got were sniffles. All right, but that was it, and that's why he wanted to get the vaccine. The vaccine is effective.
Absolutely.
It certainly is kept.
Proven around the world. Not
If it didn't work, we'd be over a million in this country now for deaths. I'm sure
easily
by now.
Over 3 million.
Probably so.
Yeah. So.
If I didn't get it, I'd be on your show right now on a ventilator.
Yeah.
Very possible.
But the fact that you got it is good because you're on our show.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to work.
Oh, that's.
Yeah. Exactly.
You've
Did you hear about Neil Young?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. I was happy to hear that. But you know.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's what happened. In case people don't know, Neil Young told Spotify, who plays his music, "Stop playing my music unless you get rid of Joe Rogan."
Yeah, thank God.
Because Joe Rogan is, he said, passing misinformation about COVID, and it's dangerous. And I don't want to be associated with an organization that. Did I just see somebody there? Oh, there she is.
She's been doing that for like 2 minutes.
Here we go.
That's
Such
why
a
Kevin
show
was
off.
doing
There
that.
we
I said,
go.
What's Kevin doing?
You know, you're going to have to buy her a pole sometime soon. You know that, don't you? There we go.
The first time she turned around and she ran into the wall. You missed that. We have no doors. We have no doors. We're doing they just took all of our new doors off the hinges to do painting, so there's like dust everywhere. Oh my god, it's so terrible.
Yeah. I just
It's
saw a
purple
big
dust. We saw it when you came in.
a big fuzzball on back of you bouncing up and down. So yeah. Anyway, what was I saying?
Something about Joe Rogan and Neil Young.
Joe Rogan.
I can't close the door and lock her out like I usually do.
She knows it too.
And she comes in, it's on a regular basis. She's like got it timed. There we go. It's like on a timer switch. And now she's going to stop any moment now. And
She's got rhythm.
and now she's going to go outside, and then she's going to come back. Here we go.
Okay, bye. You want ice cream? Did you get ice cream?
Yeah.
Go get ice cream.
I did.
Oh, okay. I tried the ice cream
That
thing.
didn't work either, huh?
Wouldn't another ice cream sound good?
Yeah, you want another ice cream? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to lock her up.
It's already wired up enough.
Okay, we're trying to do a show.
I'll send you some handcuffs.
Okay, say goodnight. Say goodnight, Gracie. No, bye. No, we gotta finish the show. Come on, go. Okay, just ignore her.
Okay, we'll ignore her. We'll blur her out in post.
Oh yeah, I can.
That was a good way of getting rid of her. Anyway, what I was going to say is that Rogan, they stood up for Rogan. They're just saying, okay, well then we won't play your music. Well, maybe we don't have to listen to Spotify, huh?
Yeah.
Like I have all our shows on Spotify, and I checked it today, and they're there.
But Spotify's paying Joe Rogan like $100 million, and
Neil
Young
million
doesn't make anything from his music. Probably, he doesn't make that much. What is he gets like 2 cents for? A song?
Well, I mean, I have all our shows on Spotify, and I was thinking just in protest, I'd take them all off. I mean, we don't get that many people watching on Spotify anyway,
close them down.
So why shouldn't we? You know,
for sure.
I think Neil Young was right in doing that, and I think Spotify was wrong in not somehow telling Rogan, look, I'm sure it's somewhere in the contract where he doesn't have completely free rein to say anything he wants to say, and that they have a right to protect the public against things that he was saying that just aren't true.
For sure.
It's phony science. And not based.
Too bad Rogan's not in China. They'd just arrest him and probably kill him.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's not a violation of freedom of speech. It's a question that you're being responsible for the safety of your.
It's like somebody going into a theater and yelling fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a freedom of speech issue.
Right.
And Apple should kick Bannon off of their podcast shows.
They should kick who?
Bannon, Steve Bannon.
I'll tell you something.
As an insurrectionist.
Okay, hold on a second. In the case of Spotify, they're paying Joe Rogan, what is it, $1 million a year? What are they paying him?
$100 million.
$100 million or something like that. I don't think it's Is it $100 million?
They got I don't know if it's $100 million a year, but they gave him like $100 million contract.
Anyway, so that makes them liable, okay? Because he, in essence, is a contracted employee. Yeah. On the other hand, when you've got somebody like Bannon on a free service like, say, Apple iTunes, that's a different story altogether. The question is, do you then censor him simply because his political outlook it doesn't agree with you? So I don't know. What do you think, Josh? Is there a certain culpability there on the part of Apple?
Well, I don't know. I mean, look, there's private, companies that are allowed to put people on that, even though you may disagree with them or whatever, and then you can choose to listen or not listen to them based on that. I mean, so, you know, if Spotify as a business wants to pay someone to do a podcast or a show and you don't like it, then don't use Spotify.
Yeah,
And
but
then
if I were, for
done-
instance, when I was on Sirius XM, if I were to say something which they felt was going to cause problems, okay, was problematical, which this would come under the. If I were to do it today, if I were still there, and I started coming out with all these false claims and so on and so forth, I think they'd probably tell me to shut up.
They
Or-
probably
or don't-
might,
or-
but if they didn't, you know, who's to say? I mean, the government, you know, doesn't decide there that you need to go, for example. So I guess what I'm saying is, then people should either just not listen to your show,
Mhm.
or if they're that unhappy about it, they should just not use Sirius as a delivery device for their entertainment. You know, so
Well, that's what I'm
Spotify-
saying. That's why I question whether I want to stay on Spotify with all the
Oh,
shows
right.
that we have.
Which, so you're making that decision, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then other people can make that decision. And then Neil Young would be within his rights to call up and say, I don't like you guys anymore. Take this guy off or take me off. And then they are within their rights to say, well, okay, well, we're keeping him and you can go.
Yeah.
And then everyone as a private individual has made their choice in life and gone on about their business. And they're not, no, I mean, no one is being harmed by that. Now, I understand that some people are going to say, oh, but Joe Rogan said this, and then if you do what he said, it'll kill you. Well, again, that's,
Well,
Look, there are choices in life
here's the choice in life
that are made.
Neil Young made one of those choices.
he did.
You know, I'm not going to
Just
be
like
there,
I choose not
but
to
but
watch
it's
Fox News.
but it's a shame. It's a shame that with all the people that have complained about Rogan and about the misinformation that he's been putting out, that Spotify hasn't done something. Spotify refuses to do anything where Rogan is concerned. It's almost
Yeah.
like they're intimidated by him,
Right.
you know, and I think that it's time that they did something about it. You know, that they tell him, hey, tamp it down. Come on, you know, you're passing some information which may cause some of your listeners and certainly our listeners and our customers no good, and so you should stop doing that and tamp it down. Or we're going to have to, or we're going to have to not run some of your
Yeah,
programs.
and if they choose not to, then, you know, you're certainly welcome to choose not to pay them to use their services any longer.
Well,
Because, I
they-
mean, look, at some point, you're going to have this long philosophical discussion about who decides what's true and what's not true. And that's not always as easy as, you know,
Yeah.
people want it to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway, the music's playing. It's the music stuff. Thank you, Kevin, for being here this evening. Haven't heard much from you tonight, but that's okay. We just like having you there. You pick. This is like the Hollywood Squares. You're in the center square tonight is Josh. And then we got Charlie, and we got Alan, and we got Steve. Oh, it's always good to see you, Steve, because we'd like to know that your health is okay. And of course, John Larkin. We love having you here. You know, work less, be on with us more. We can't pay you for it, but you know.
Oh shit.
And Jeff, thank you, and of course, thanks to Kevin, not Kevin, but Brian and his
They
and
look so much alike.
his lovely puppet there called. That's what she looked like, you know. She's adorable, but get your doors back soon, will you?
Yeah, I need privacy.
You need some privacy. I mean, how the hell are you going to jerk off in that room, you know?
She was in the room, Alex.
It's it's impossible for him to do that. He can't lock the door and watch his porn. You know, come on. Every man's
Exactly.
got to have that, right?
Right.
Thanks, everybody. Boy, it's been fun tonight. Give yourself a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye right with you. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn on my camera. Okay, that's it for tonight. That's all she wrote. Let me see here. Let me get rid of them. Okay, there we go. There. We're okay. Now we're, I think, a little bit more in sync and stuff. I don't know. I thought I had this whole sync problem solved, but apparently I do not. But who cares? Anyway, listen, Jack Bishop is okay. He's next, and I'm frozen. Oh, look at that, folks. I'm frozen. I am frozen. I am frozen, and everything else is frozen here too. Oh, there we go. All right, now I'm not frozen. Jack Bishop is next over most of the same station. I'll get out of here fast before I have to worry about freezing up again. We'll see you again tomorrow night, same 10:30, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, should you see her, please tell her I love her. And by the way, get vaccinated if you aren't. If you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. And if you don't wear a mask, don't breathe in my face. Night, everybody.